The IDIS Superlights Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants and Autosportinsurance.com. Welcome to the IDIS Superlights Challenge, the championship for fast and nimble sports prototypes featuring makes like Radical, Norma, Praga, Wolf and more. The season opener is at Zandvoort in the Netherlands, and on this challenging track there'll be two races on the same day, a 30-minute sprint and a 60-minute enduro. So there's a new challenge, and with a strong field, the 2015 championship looks to be very promising. Here's organiser Dick van Elk.
Ja, ik heb daar 2 jaar heel veel tijd, energie en ook...
Well, we've invested a lot of time and effort as well as a decent budget to get the concept working successfully, and I'm very excited. We've got 18 cars on the grid early in the season. We've received new registrations as well for the next event in Zolder too. So after 2 years of hard work, we finally have a great starting grid. I used to be a little bit unsure about these kind of cars, but I've really started to appreciate them. They look good, and with the grid full, we're very impressed. So things are looking good for the season. In Group 1, the faster of the two divisions in Superlights Challenge, German driver Jörg Schumacher has entered this Wolf GB08 for Bas Curtin Racing. With 260 brake horsepower and only 540 kilos, it's certainly not an easy drive.
It tends to understeer, which I did not experience that much in the Radical I drove last season. So it's a bit snappy, especially on these conditions. So you can flip it or spin it pretty easily, but on the other hand it's pretty fast as well, so yeah, it might be well fun.
For this first weekend of the season, Jörg shares with fast young Dutchman Joey van Splinteren. The second Wolf GB08 from Bas Curtin Racing is driven by Bas Schouten and Bob Herber. Schouten, a 20-year-old professional from the north of the Netherlands, has plenty of experience with this CM prototype, but Bob Herber's new to the car. His years of experience racing with downforce vehicles, though, will prove to be valuable. Another CN prototype in Group 1 is the Norma M20FC of Deldish Racing, with 23-year-old Sam de Jong here. The young Belgian, former F3 Open and MotoGP drivers, teamed up with regular driver Luc de Kock for the season, and that's been a good choice. They've claimed pole for both races. Zandvoort's a technical track, he says, with flowing corners. You've got to link corners together in groups to get the best speed and grip through the sections. And that's the only way to fast lap times. If you look at a track like Zolder, it's much more stop-start. I'm used to both starts. I learned a lot in single-seaters, so I can tackle difficult corner combinations with a downforce car. And here at Zandvoort, that worked out well. In my opinion, says Luc de Kock, Sam's got an extraordinary racing talent. I got to know him last year, was really impressed. I've been racing for a long time, as you can see from my grey hair, and all those years I've only met a couple of drivers with that kind of talent. Money's always an issue, of course, and so I'm trying to do my part to make sure he gets the promotion and the driving miles that he needs. When he gets in the car, he's got to be quickest of everyone, and that's his challenge. This is Tim Joosen, son of Belgian touring car legend Eddie Joosen. He's in his first season in the Tartus PY012 of Ichiban Racing, and it's also his first outing here on this tough track at Zandvoort. From my experiences, especially in GTs and touring cars, I've got a little bit of experience with the Radical, but this is really a big step forward. The downforce is most impressive, especially in the fast corners. So I'm not only mastering the corners, it's about overcoming your own fears too. The car's so much quicker than I am at the moment. I've got a lot to learn, but we're getting quicker with every lap. Lot to learn for Ichiban Racing too. It's the second year of running this Tartus, but their first time at Zandvoort. So finding the right setup won't be an easy task.
We hebben harde dempers gezet.
Team boss Glenn Haverhals says we've installed harder dampers and springs, worked hard on improving the downforce. Here at Zandvoort there's a long straight, so we really had to fine-tune the rear wing, especially to make sure we got enough downforce, but also good top speed on the straight, and hopefully we found a good setup. Also in Group 1, of course, is Radical, as well as the 430 horsepower SR8. They bring the latest model from the factory in Peterborough.
It's a Radical RXC Spider, it's brand new. We only did a small rollout at Nürburgring before, a few days before, and today it's like for us a second try to get a little bit used to the car. And I'm here with Karl-Heinz, my teammate, and we will try.
Reigning Group 1 champion is 70-year-old Henk Tace with his trusty Radical SR8 RX. In both races, he'll start from second place and again proves very quick, but the competition is stronger than ever with pole coming from a less powerful CN prototype, the Norma of Deldish Racing. Luc de Kock will do the first 30-minute race of the weekend. Pole position in Group 2 is in the hands of former champion Ko Kopian with his Radical SR3 RS. We'll catch up with the Group 2 drivers after this first race. 18 cars rolling off the grid for the first race weekend. It's going to be tricky for these very light sports cars trying to get the right temperature into their tyres in these cold, blustery conditions. And that's probably going to make the first couple of laps very entertaining. With Ko Kopian, Group 2 poleman, ready for the start of the season here in Zandvoort. And away they go. Good start from Henk Tace in the black machine on the outside. Down into Tarzan for the first time. Look on the left-hand side on the outside. That's Tim Joodsen in the Tartus. Tried to get third, but on the inside, Bob Herber in the Black Wolf retakes the spot. Second place is the car that was on pole. Deldish Racing's Luc de Kock lost out at the start to the veteran Henk Tace. Now, can he counter-attack? It looks like he's been chased from behind. Yeah, Bob Herber right up behind him in the Black Wolf. And look behind, change in Group 2 coming up. Philippe Leclerc, the green and white Norma, takes it away from Ko Kopian. On board with Philippe Leclerc. There is Kopian in front, more horsepower in the Norma. Older generation CM prototypes have less aerodynamics, and that may pay against him further on round the lap. Meanwhile, back in the lead, away has gone Henk Tace. The battle is on for second place. Luc de Kock in the white and red Deldish Racing machine. Under pressure from Bob Herber. Herber in the Wolf. Down the straight they come. And the Deldish car pulling over on the right-hand side. Maybe they haven't got the balance right with the car. Maybe there's not quite enough aero. Luc de Kock manages to pull out on the straight. And now it's Herber who's under attack. Tim Joodsen in the Tartus. Well, the Deldish Racing team looking a little worried, having lost the lead right at the beginning. Jörg Schumacher just a couple of cars back, and right in front of us you can see the white Norma, and down the inside goes Bob Herber. Takes away second place in the S chicane. Looks like there is more trouble for the red and white car as well. They're queuing up behind. The Tartus now, Tim Joodsen. Down the inside, takes away third place in the Kumo corner, and Jörg Schumacher's not far away. So the Tartus has gone through, and Schumacher in the Wolf down the straight now. Is he going to be able to catch Luc de Kock? Starting to close a little down into the braking area. He's got the inside line, flies down the inside. Luc de Kock uses the banked corner to try and stay alongside, but loses out on the curb. He's gone down another spot. With Jörg Schumacher, Tim Joodsen in front in the Tartus. Drifted a little wide in the corner there. On a nice deep lunge down the inside. Takes the place away. Change for third spot there. That was a really good run. Now Joodsen not letting this one go. Through the final corner and onto the straight they come. And the Tartus is right in the slipstream. Could be a challenge here under braking. On board with Schumacher. Does he get to the apex? He does not, and that's because the Tartus is right there. Tim Joodsen goes through, and there's contact as well. Well, let's take a look again. On the exit of the corner, Joodsen comes out wide, but doesn't leave quite enough room. Bumps Schumacher off onto the dirt. And Joodsen trailing a little bit of bodywork. Schumacher's car looks okay. A little bit of oversteer there. And Joodsen loose at the exit of Hogenholtz. And Schumacher being a little bit more cautious this time as he goes by. So Schumacher with Bob Herber in his sights. Good attacking run here. Oh, and Herber makes a mistake in the S chicane. Goes in too deep. Slow on the exit. Schumacher up to second. Schumacher charges on after the race leader Henk Tace gets within a second and a half, sets the fastest lap. And maybe with a few more laps, he might have been in front. Henk Tace though claims victory, but it's a very impressive debut for Jörg Schumacher in second.
Yeah, I can't believe it myself. Actually, I just realized that I'm second. I thought I was, I don't know, fourth or fifth, and I was quite comfortable with it. But yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it was really good. Really, actually, it was my first real race with really wheel-to-wheel position fighting. It was the first time, and it feels really good. Yeah.
Wiebo Rademacher started 7th in Group 2 with the brand new Radical SR3 RSX, but his race ends 6 laps in after being hit by Paul Salias in Skyflak. Co Kapian, having lost the lead on the first laps, the green and white Norma of Philippe de Klerk, trying to counter-attack. The Radical SR3 has 210 horsepower, less than the Norma, but better aero. Kapian was champion in 2013, but lots of technical problems last year meant that he couldn't defend that title. He's hoping that 2015 will be a little better for him. Well, plenty of aggression shown here, attacking the Norma of Philippe de Klerk, trying to retake the lead of the class. However, disaster strikes once more. He's forced into the pit lane, his race is over. Well, is this 2014 repeating itself? The Norma's got 40, 50 more horsepower. There's no way of keeping up with him, said Coe, so it's a matter of trying to force him into a mistake. I was piling on the pressure, but something broke in the gearbox. It sounded awful. I think the weekend might be over. And unfortunately that proves to be correct for Coe. His engine and his gearbox both kaput. Well, it's victory in race 1 in the Superlights Group 2 for Philippe de Klerk as he rushes away unchallenged, and indeed it's a Norma 1-2 as David Hotoft claims the second spot. Well, de Klerk was pleased, resisting the pressure. He tried everything he knew to pass me in the slower corners, he said, but I was able to counter every move and he couldn't get by, so won the race. Well, the second race is a 60-minute enduro with different strategies and tactics required. Stay with us to find out what happened in both groups in the IDIS Superlights Challenge. The IDIS Superlights Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants and Autosportinsurance.com. Welcome back to the IDIS Superlights Challenge powered by Pirelli at Zandvoort. We continue with the second race of the season opener, but first we'll take a look at some of the competitors in Group 2. After the Formula Renault 1.6 NEC series ended suddenly, 21-year-old Dutchman Paul Salias had to find himself a new challenge, and that challenge is the Praga R1. Well, we're aiming for the title. The Praga has an engine update over the winter, which almost makes them even with the Radicals on the straight. That's where the Praga lost a lot of ground last year, so hopefully we'll be able to make life very difficult for them, and we're definitely hoping to win the title. Well, there's a whole bunch of Radicals in Group 2 to be challenged, 6 of them in fact. One of them the brand new SR3 RSX of Wiebo Rademacher. With improved aerodynamics, this is certainly a car that could take the title. Another very special Radical SR3 is number 786. It has a completely carbon fibre body by DD Compound, reducing the weight by 50 kilos. Drivers are Hauke Hirschler and Dominic Dierkes.
Just arrived, it's my first race ever, so I just want to finish and everything else is good, so we hope that we can get great results, but we will see. We are well prepared, good car, good team.
Among the 11 cars in Group 2 are some older generation CN prototypes like this Norma M20F of David Hotoft. More engine powered than their rivals, but a little less downforce. Second race of the weekend is a 60-minute enduro. Pole position goes to the Norma M20FC of Deldish Racing. Luc de Kock doing the first stint, and hopefully more luck after technical problems resulted in them dropping from pole to 6th in race 1. The sun is out, but it can be very deceiving. There's 2 warm-up laps because track temperature is still just around 6 degrees Celsius, and warming up the tyres will be quite a challenge with all these cars weighing in under 600 kilos. Luc de Kock sits on pole from the Black Radical of Henk Tace. Bob Herber's Wolf is 3rd. Tim Joosten is 4th in his Tartus ahead of Rob Campus and Jörg Schumacher. Philippe Leclerc starting in 8th place in his green and white Norma. He's 2nd on the grid. David Hotoft alongside him is the pole man. Hotoft on the right of the screen as Henk Tace takes the lead down into the first corner. And Tim Joosten going around the outside in the Tartus as well. So down to 3rd goes the pole sitter. And Philippe Leclerc leading in Group 2. There's a change behind as well. Carlo Kaya attacking David Hotoft, and it looks like he's getting through. Hotoft trying to counter though. Hotoft now in 2nd, and a little lunge coming up for 3rd place perhaps. Carlo Kaya being attacked by Vito Rademacher on the inside. They're wheel to wheel. On board with Rademacher. Get a little bit more power in the straight line. He goes by. And looks like that is job done. Rademacher up to 3rd place on the run up the Hunsrück. Oh, and Carlo Kaya off in the gravel at Skyflak. Cold tyres, not enough grip as he tries to counter-attack. Back in the pits for a check-up. He heads back out, but in the end, doesn't finish the race. Out front, Henk Tace pulling away now from the 2nd black car, Tim Joosten. Luc de Klerk, the white machine, that's the Norma. Then Bob Herber's Wolf. Jörg Schumacher in his Wolf, and Rob Campus in the red Radical sends it down the inside as he grabs 5th position. Oh, and spinning out, that's Luc de Kock in the Norma. Trouble at Tarzan, he's in the gravel. And that looks like some driver error. Just locked a rear wheel, braking into the first corner, says Luke. I think the brake balance was wrong, simple as that, but apart from that, car was great. Behind Henk Tace, Tim Joosten and Bob Herber is the battle for 4th. The red Radical, Rob Campus, and the black Wolf of Jörg Schumacher. As Campus rides over the curb, Schumacher again on the attack, and look at this, great lunge down the inside at turn 8. Grabs 4th position. He had a really charging run in race 1, and now he is chasing Bob Herber. The 2 Wolves, nose to tail. Well, as Henk Tace races on, that battle evaporates as Bob Herber has to make an early pit stop before the mandatory pit window is open. Schumacher then moving up once more. And now attacking the Tartus for 2nd spot. Has a look down the inside. And then around the outside. Grip to spare in the Wolf. That's a great pass for 2nd. Henk Tace still the race leader. Time for the mandatory pit stops between the 25th and 35th minute of the race, allowing for driver changes. This is only in the 60-minute enduro. Joey van Splunteren taking over from Jörg Schumacher. And Schumacher's no slouch, but he regards Joey very highly indeed.
Well, actually, he knows the car a lot better than I do, and he's a very experienced driver. So I think he drove in the Winter Endurance race here. So he's very fast. He's a lot faster than I am. So I don't know whether he can catch up with Henk in the SR8, but let's hope.
Well, Joe van Splunteren has a big gap to close down to Henk Tace, but with 4 laps of the 36 total, he catches him and is on his tail. And in the bright but cold conditions, ideal for racing, plenty of power for the engine. Van Splunteren closing in on Henk Tace. Sends Tace to the inside into 8 and then goes around for turn 9 to take the lead of the race. Wolf has its first victory in the Superlights Challenge.
I
had no idea what the gap was, said Joey. I just focused on trying to do the best lap times I could to see what the advantage would be. Over the radio, Bas was shouting, push, push, because we were gaining on Henk Tace. When I saw him, I pushed as hard as I could to get by, and when I did, it was quite a relief. Well, with a second and a race win, York Schumacher takes the championship lead. Joe van Splunteren only a guest driver for this weekend, so he takes no points. Henk Tace won the first race. He lies second in the championship ahead of Tim Josen and Rob Campus. Well, in Group 2, we saw Philippe Leclerc leading the race early on, but he was caught and passed again by David Huttoff, the pole sitter in the other Norma in the S-chicane. Vibo Rademacher trying to take advantage too, but as they get up to the Kumo corner, the green and white car takes away the racing line, and Paul Celias in the blue Praga is closing right up. Well, both Huttoff, the leader, and de Klerk have result seconds because they were both on the podium in race 1. If you finish on the podium, you have a certain amount of result seconds added to your mandatory pit stop time of 60 seconds for the next race. So at this stage, Vibo Rademacher doesn't have to take any major risks, just stay close, and the race should come to him. Now, the only fly in the ointment is the presence of the Praga right behind, so he is feeling a little bit of pressure to get on with it. Looks to the inside of Tarzan, doesn't want to risk any contact and damage his car because he holds the upper hand at the moment with regard to pit stop times. He'll be stationary less time and should be out 5, 10, 15 seconds in front of his closest rivals. That could be a race-winning advantage. As long as he doesn't take any silly risks, and as long as the Praga doesn't hold him up too much when he's defending from Paul Celias. Vibo Rademacher does indeed take the lead after the pit stops. Philippe de Klerk in second place, and this is the battle for third between Huttoff in the Norma and Celias in the Praga. And here's the key moment. Into the S-chicane, Huttoff in too deep, all over the curbs, trying to counter-attack as the Praga comes around, drills the throttle and loops it into the barriers. That's a hard impact.
Paul Sieltjes is echt aan het bumperen bij mij. Ik rijd naar...
Well, Paul was really close behind me. I was closing the gap to Vido Rademacher, but I guess I was trying too hard to keep the Praga behind. I got a bit too deep into the chicane, tried to recover from that. Unfortunately, at the corner, he was next to me. I had to tighten up my line not to hit him and lost control of the car. Well, that's a tough break for David Huttoff, but good news for the man who had misfortune in race 1. Vibo Rademacher rushes on successfully to claim victory at the checkered flag in Group 2. Behind him, Philippe de Klerk, the pole sitter, and Paul Celias in the Praga. Vibo Rademacher looking happy in the centre, but Philippe de Klerk on the left of your picture and Paul Celias on the right are the happiest after 2 successful races for both of them. De Klerk leads the championship, and new boys Dominic Gierkes and Hauke Hirschler lie in third in the points. The next Supercar Challenge race weekend is at Zolder on the 9th and 10th of May, featuring the Superlights Challenge, the Sports Divisions and the GT classes. We'll bring you all the action, of course, but until then, bye for now. The IDIS Superlights Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants and Autosportinsurance.com.